The winningest coach in college baseball. He loves his baseball. He also loves his food. That was from Home Plate, and you had a ball doing that, Augie. Did you know?
Absolutely. Some great chefs in this town, great originality, great food products all through this area, and it just made for lots and lots of fun.
Well, I'm just glad to see you.
It's good to see you.
Because the last time we talked, we didn't know if we were ever going to see each other again. It was 12/21 with the Mayan calendar, and we didn't know if the world was going to end. Clearly, it did not. So that means more Augieisms and more to add to that reel right there.
Here we are.
Yeah. Did you ever air up those tires, by the way? Because I know you said, why air up the tires if the world's going to end? The next day you had to air them up, right?
Yeah, that's right. You're right. We had to start all over.
Well, you're starting all over again this year with the Texas baseball team. You've got some guys that are returning, also some newcomers. You had your first team meeting this week, and you tweeted. I didn't know you were tweeting now. I mean, you are a man of technology, obviously. So let's take a look at that tweet and what you said. First team meeting this afternoon. Can't wait for the Texas baseball season to start. Going to be a special year. Hook 'em. I want to ask you, what inspired you to say it's going to be a special year? What was said in that meeting?
Well, I think the attitude of the team and the new players that we brought in and the kind of fall that we experienced leads me to believe that the attitude of the team, which is always one of the three most critical points and maybe at the end of the day the most important part of anything connected to teamwork. And I think the players have that. I think that they trust each other, they trust the coaches, which is the cornerstone of teamwork. And they have some special skills. Offensively, I think we're going to be able to run and capitalize on the balls that we put in play. And defensively, I think we'll do a good job behind the pitching staff, which is going to be a very good one led by Parker French.
All right, let's talk about that pitching staff. Parker returns. John Curtis has Tommy John surgery, so John really looked like he was going to have a big-time sophomore year. He's going to go ahead and sit out and rehab. You know, overall, with the freshman staff, it was pretty good numbers. 3.43 ERA last season. What do you expect from the staff this year?
I think consistency is what Skip is always looking for. He's looking for them to get focused on having the courage to simplify their job because it's the only way you can be consistent at it.
What do you mean by that? How do you simplify it?
Hit the mitt.
Just
have a ball.
Throw it.
Throw it to the mitt. Don't be afraid of the hitter. Don't be afraid of the situation. Keep it real simple. Control the things you can control. What can you control? The ball. Throw it to the mitt with no fear. And trust the people behind you to get the outs for you that they should get.
And it kind of leads us to you always talking about don't worry about the results, don't worry about failure, just go pitch by pitch. Do you feel like this team's ready to take on that mentality?
I don't think we understand that completely at this point, but it would be too much for them to understand. They've never played that way before, so that's really the educational part of the process. But I think they will, because I think they again, I think they respect each other and trust each other and see that collectively we have a chance to be a very good team.
Skip Johnson does a great job with the pitching staff. As you know, he's one of the best pitching coaches in the country. You've got Corey Knebel, and you've got a decision to make. Last year he was the closer. Then you needed him to start a little bit. He did well at both. What's his role going to be, starter or closer?
He's going to close.
Okay. Why?
Because that's how you win.
Okay.
You know, and at the end of the day, even though we have to take the results away from the process to actually perform during the game ourselves, but the truth of the matter is our responsibility is to win the game. And so to win the game consistently, especially against good teams, you have to be able to go into the 8th and 9th inning with some like Mario Rivera and win.
How about Jay Brent Cox or Houston Street?
And that was why we won, at least a big part of the reason. You have to be able to close in those exciting big games, and it takes a special mentality along with a special talent. And that's exactly what Corey has.
Well, you were also able to win because of defense, and you go all the way to your Cal State Fullerton teams and what you've done here at Texas and what Texas has done for about 120 years. They play good defense. Last year was a little bit of a dip, 966 fielding percentage. I did both fall ball games. It looked like you guys improved. How much improvement have you seen with the defense?
I think the defense is going to perform at a very high level. I really do. And we have some choices to make and some decisions to make, especially on the infield. In the outfield, we'll have good speed. If a ball goes up in the air, we've got a great chance to catch it. I feel like the elements of quality defense are there. We've been working very hard on putting the ball in play, making contact, the offensive side of it, try to bring balance to that part of it as well. But you know, I don't want to make the kind of comments that raise any expectations, because if there's one word that fouls up the whole process,
I know what it is.
Is expectations. They're a false reality. You can't play to them. They don't motivate you. They intimidate you. So we just have to take it, old coach's comment, a day at a time, a pitch at a time, a game at a time, an inning at a time. And that's the fun of watching the team. But I know that there's you know, a great potential in this team, and that always leads me to Coach Royal's first story when he came out and asked me about how we're going to be in the first year I was here. And I said, well, we've got a great potential. And he looks down at the ground, he says, looks back up and looks me right in the eye, and he says, you know that potential you're talking about there, boy? That's what gets you fired around here. So I'm not sure I understood what he meant then, but I really do now.
You understood.
I understand now.
Well, are you able to relate to 18 to 22-year-olds, or maybe even to 34-year-olds, that it really is, expectations really are just a figment of your imagination? They're not real.
It's difficult, because when you start changing accepted concepts, and you start trying to make those changes, it's a real difficult educational process, but a necessary one, and one that fits the university system. That's exactly what the players are doing as they're going through classes. They're opening up their minds to new thoughts, and so this is why I think this environment suits what we're trying to do. It's a learning experience, but to make those kind of changes, to take it from expectations, to take them away from perceptions, to take them away from taking the winning out of the process itself, and stay in the process pitch to pitch, that all has to be learned. And they don't have a lot of experience with that kind of thinking. So this is an educational process. It's an ongoing process. But the teams that finally win and reach their destiny at the end of the season are the teams that come to understand that, and then rally around the simplicity of the game and find their enjoyment in the hard work and the teamwork that comes from that.
And that's why you're here, because you've had a lot of teams that can do that, and you can teach that. Augie, it's always a pleasure when you come in here, and we're glad to have you back.
I'm the luckiest guy in the world to have this job and to be a part of this.
Thank you so much.
I thank you guys every day.
We'll be talking to you a lot.
Thanks.